Welcome to A Dram of Outlander. This is Desiree, your podcaster and the writer for adramofOutlander.com. For all things Outlander, from the Dinah Gabaldon book series to the Stars TV series and everything in between. This is podcast episode 139, and it's a special version because it's the Denver Comic-Con and Outlandish Outlander fan panel with me, Karen Daugherty of Outlander Medicine, and Courtney Williams from Outlander Behind the Scenes. So the sound quality, because it was in a live room, meaning it wasn't in a studio space, sounds like it was in a live room. So I will do my best to clean it up, but I hope you enjoy.
If you have a question, please come and ask it in the microphone so everyone can hear. And I'm Desiree. I'm the podcaster for A Dram of Outlander, and I write blog posts. And I started with Outlander in 1991 when the first book came out, and I wandered into a bookstore. And I always tell people that to my marriage, I brought Outlander, refrigerator, and 2 cats with me, and it's still here. So that's kind of how it goes. My poor husband has had to go along this whole 24 years. And this is Courtney.
Hi, I'm Courtney Williams. I have a blog, Outlander Behind the Scenes, and my mom introduced me to the books in 2006. I had a newborn and stayed up way too late reading and fell in love. And when the show came out, I was like, I'm not even going to watch that. They're going to ruin it, and I don't want to do it. But one day I was home alone, and it was on for free, and I watched, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Anyway, long story short, I have been to Scotland like some ridiculous amount of times now, and started a blog and also do some interviews with the cast, and I love it. So, and same, my family glazes over when I start talking about Outlander. They're like, my daughter used to say, "Your fake job, Mom." Anyway, glad you're here. Thank you for coming.
And I'm Karen Daugherty, and I write the blog Outlander Medicine. I'm an emergency medicine physician, and I found myself in the land of 4D surgeries in the last 2 years, and I don't like not being busy, and I started blogging about the medicine of Outlander while I was lying on the sofa recovering from knee surgeries, and my family was out skiing. I guess I'm a newcomer because I came about the books around 2008, and I'm still waiting for Stars to call me and tell me that they need a new medical advisor because I'll be on my side. So, welcome. Thank you.
So the only ground rule we have is if you have a complaint about the show versus the books, you have to come up with whatever your plan would have been to make it better in the context of what the writers did for the TV show. So I just want you to come up with some good ideas. Hey, maybe we can pass it on to them. So how we're going to do this is we're going to kind of talk about something and then open it to you guys. We really want this to be about you and what you think, because it's a fan panel. It's not just about us. We just happen to put it together. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a top 3 of something for season 3. I said the print shop scene was particularly my favorite for reasons, obvious reasons, right? Jamie passing out was beautiful. Jamie's goodbye to John, Isabel, and Lily, because if you didn't cry, I don't think you're quite human. And the first wife episode, because Leary getting her own is just great. It's fantastic. And her shooting Jamie is pretty good. I mean, really, because you wouldn't expect it from her, and then she comes out and shoots him, and it's pretty awesome.
All right. My favorite scenes, I actually did my favorite episodes. 301, the battle joins. I thought Sam was amazing in that, in the beginning scenes where he's on the battlefield and dying. And then the execution scenes in that one. I really loved 303 when, for Katrina and Tobias, I thought were amazing in that, and that argument scene. And then his death is amazing. And I have more than 3, but I'll go with the fight and the first wife between Jamie and Claire, which is pretty good.
My choices have somewhat already been chosen as well. The reunion, of course. I will say of lost things, I like seeing Jamie having purpose again. Love seeing William start to get developed as a character. I also said the last episode, and maybe that's more because I'm really excited for what's to come and I want to be at the Ridge. But I think that one made me pretty excited, Lynn and Georgia. So, yeah.
Do you guys want to share yours? I'd love to hear other people. And we can try just speaking out and see if we can hear you. Somebody's gonna have it.
Oh, I love the scene with Lord John and Jamie when they see each other speak for the first time. You know, her.
Oh, after.
Yes. After the whole thing. So they.
When they're at his manor house for the party. David Barry was amazing in that, wasn't he?
Yes.
He is such a good actor. Any others?
I like the Stevie scene where she had a fever, and then
that is a good one.
Turtle soup.
How did we forget turtle soup?
No, it's on there. It's just that we were only doing 3.
Did any of you make turtle soup from the Outlander kitchen cookbook for that episode? You tried? Did it turn out? It's a pretty intensive 2-day recipe.
Oh my god, with the turtle?
Well, it's mock turtle soup. It's not real turtle.
Wow. That's amazing.
But it takes 2 full days to make it. That's why I didn't make it this year.
Anybody else?
I really liked when Claire, she jumped off the ship to see him go born Jamie when she was on her own for that bit, because it was like, he just got back together, and then all of a sudden, that kind of suspense of like, wow, they're already separated, and how they reacted to being on their own, but still, like, at the same time.
And making that choice to jump into the ocean in a totally unknown place with no assurance of survival. That's incredible.
Yeah, because Annika told her to, and then it was safe.
Right. And as an actor, no dialogue. You know, she had to carry all those scenes with no dialogue. Did you guys think the snake or the ants were worse?
Ants.
Yeah, me too. Ants, raise your hand for ants. And snake. The husbands are like, what are we talking about? I'm looking up game scores.
Have all of you read the book? Raise your hands who's read the books.
Not all.
Have you read up through season 3 yet? Oh,
Yes.
the 3rd book? Okay. You haven't read the next one
I
yet?
haven't read that one.
Okay. Are you waiting until the season's over? Until the season 4 is over to read the next one?
I'm just finishing up Game of Thrones.
Oh. I just started Game of Thrones, so yeah. What particular scenes are you looking for in season 4? I had way too many, so I had to whittle it down. Probably William and Lord John going to the Ridge, so these are spoilers for people who haven't read it yet. But you don't know the context, so it's okay. There's so much in that couple of weeks that passes. It's amazing. John Quincy Myers, for sure. There's a particular dinner party scene that I can't wait to watch.
Are we allowed to talk about it? Non-book readers?
It's a surgery scene with a pretty rough and tumble character during a giant, fancy, the who's who of everyone in Cross Creek dinner party that happens. And of course, Claire just rises up. Anyway, I know you need to do that.
Just splashes the whiskey right on there.
Yes. And of course, just the really special Brianna and Jamie meeting for the first time. It's going to be, at least we know they filmed that because we got Meryl Davis sending a little tweet out about it, and everybody cheered in Twitterland. What are you looking for, Courtney?
You know, I'm just rereading Drums of Autumn now, and I'm actually doing it with Davina Porter, which is, she's awesome. I love it. But sometimes I'll fall asleep and then I'll have to rewind like 3 hours. But anyway, so I don't remember all of it, but I'm really excited. John Gary Steele, who's the production designer, has said that his favorite set from season 4 is River Run. And so, or Anticosta's.
Yes,
so I'm really excited to see them arrive there and, just get the introduction of that.
And they tackle some very serious social issues that we're still dealing with today. And so it's actually going to be very timely and difficult for us to watch, but I think it's going to be actually really helpful. The kind of the social movements that are going on right now, I think it's going to be really important. So the timing couldn't actually be better for this season and what's going to happen.
I think it's that the writers feel that too. Like how exactly do we try to be historically accurate, or do we?
Yeah, they will. I'm pretty sure they're going to show it all.
But also there is a scene where Jamie and Claire are out on the ridge, and there are a bunch of fireflies. I don't know if they're going to do that. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, fireflies and stuff.
I don't know when they're filming.
Computer generated the fireflies.
I don't know if they have them. And then the bear killer scene.
Again, you fit all of mine, but I will add to the bear killer scene the fish slapping scene across the face.
Yes.
But
I really hope we see that.
I hope so.
I did see a bear.
You did see a bear? Oh yeah,
Fun.
I think they showed some on Instagram. Somebody showed them carting off a bear carcass.
Like, I don't see how they couldn't do that soon, But so what about you guys? What are you looking forward to?
The Americans.
Yes.
Those Terry's designs are so spot on. I know backgrounds of that. They're fabulous. Can't wait.
Background in what? History. So you know that the costumes are very historically accurate. Is that what you
They
meant?
sure look like it.
Yeah.
I know, tried to make it really big
No doubt.
to look at detail.
So non-book.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
I want to see how the work turns out like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you
This
think?
is our next
edition.
So what's your favorite way that they might add him back in?
Yeah,
What do
let's
you suggest?
fantasize.
Ooh.
No.
Murtaugh.
Yeah, I think that's what it is like.
Agent?
Yeah, does he become a Duncan in this role and end up with Jocasta?
I heard that Diana said that's not what's happening.
Yes.
There's am I right there? Yeah.
She did say that.
She said he's not coming back.
How they do it.
What do we think?
But maybe what she's saying is he doesn't. I don't know. I want him to marry her.
I'd say I don't want him to marry her at all. I think it's weird, but that's. I think it would be weird.
Why?
Are they related or not related?
No. Well,
No, it's because he was.
she's a
in love
Mackenzie.
with-
He's a Fraser.
Was in love with Jamie's mother his whole life.
Yeah, and she
So-
looks like her.
I know, so it's I know. To me, it's just odd that he would marry her sister that looks like her.
I think that makes perfect sense. All the more reason.
Yeah,
You want him to get married.
She's on the roll all the time.
What's that?
Her top.
Yeah.
What's that?
We're not buds.
No, that's
Right.
true.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There might be some bad blood between Murtaugh and Jocasta that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Because they're schemers.
So do you guys think he'll go with them to the ridge?
I hope so. That's my favorite. What else do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's in the fourth book. Sometimes they run together for
Yeah.
me. But the scene where Ian, to a certain extent, sacrifices himself to stay with the Native Americans, and he has to say goodbye to Jamie.
Right, because
That's going to be
Is that in this book or is that in this book?
Yes.
So, but if you didn't hear her, it's when
Cover your
cover your
ears.
ears. Yeah. Anybody who hasn't read this book, it's when a character has to sacrificially go live with the American Indians. I learned recently that's kind of the preferred term over Native Americans, unless they go by their tribal name. And it's individual.
What was the term?
American Indians is
Okay.
more the preferred term than Native Americans.
Okay.
I was surprised. Yes, and so there you go by the tribe, so it's very interesting.
So the Roger thing is the reason for that, right?
Yeah.
So because
You are going to be like shocked.
this book is really good.
You're going to love it.
So much happens, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Like, I want you to
That
email
scene is
me
gonna
when
be amazing.
when the episode hits. I want to see what your reaction is.
So you will watch it play out. The confusion that was so easily avoided.
Oh, yeah.
I know, it's kind of like a general hospital, where you're like, just walk around the corner.
See, that's the joy of the podcast, is I can yell, I can yell about it during the podcast and edit and send it on, and people can listen to me ranting about that.
Can we talk about that scene? About Roger?
I think it'll be...
Don't spoil it.
No, I'm not
Okay, no spoilers. Okay.
No spoilers. That would be way too much.
Roger who?
Yeah, Roger, we don't know.
Because I'd be interested in hearing what you folks think about the way that they changed Mr. Willoughby from the book, to the show. How do you think that they may portray the whole slave era? Because they could go so many different directions.
I think they're going to show it pretty realistically. I think especially because there's so much going on right now in our country that's really highlighting really the significance of racism that still occurs right now. And that I'm back in school right now, as well as all the other things. I'm a midwife, working midwife by trade at the moment.
With 4 kids.
Yeah, but they're big. They're not littles anymore. It's okay. I got time. And a lot of the coursework I'm doing for the degree is looking at some of those particular things and looking at statistics. So about 80% of African Americans in this country come from West Africa through the slave trade, and so we still have generational impact. So I think that because there's so much highlight socially on that in our country right now, and it keeps coming up almost daily, I think they're going to stick really close to reality.
Oh, they changed Willoughby so 180
I know.
degrees.
Because they thought that was culturally insensitive. But I think if they don't show this, that it will be whitewashing, and it would be very bad backlash. Because it's whitewashed. I mean, the things I see in textbooks right now as somebody in middle age, when I was in school, half of this stuff you had to go to the library to find in individual books. It didn't show up in our textbooks. So we see all the reality of it now, which is really great, but that wasn't the norm when we were in school, any of us really. So anybody over probably 30 really didn't get that information. So I think they're going to look at it and really make it useful. Yeah.
In my opinion is they'll definitely have Claire probably be more outraged than she is in the books for that same reason. I think that her character in the show really takes on that mantle of
Justice.
Yeah, and she did in the books, but it wasn't.
Well, she's trying to integrate what's hers to deal with and what's not hers to deal with, and she doesn't quite know how to do it. Like, I would know what to do. I mean, you stand in the face of something that's totally common in a culture. If I had to stand in it, I would be like, this is wrong, but what can I do without someone coming after me because I'm standing up against it? I mean, it is really challenging, and I think that she's going to have to evolve into that and try to have a voice.
And I can see them exploring that, even with the whole episode of Claire caring for them and taking a social stand.
Because in the book, she really does. I mean, she does,
yeah.
And she makes her piece known, and there's threads throughout the books that we see that when they come from the future, that they're like, we can't, this is not something that we like, and we can't do this over the long haul.
And in some instances, like in the book in Voyager, season 3, Claire tells them, don't give me any gas or anesthesia for having Brianna, and they don't. And she has her, and that's her stance. But in the show, they made it very like, a big white guy that doesn't listen, and little lady and all that. So it was a little bit more emphasized, stereotyped. So I could see that possibly happening. Possibly. What did you guys think of the Willoughby change?
I still like her. He was more likable.
Yeah.
I don't think he was supposed to be likable. I think he was supposed to be obviously out of place, and that he was only there because he had to be there, and he was angry because of his circumstance, even though if he would have stayed, it would have meant death for him.
All of those things can be accomplished without making a caricature of him, though.
Yeah.
But you think
Not to
this
be a caricature.
will kind of move towards that.
I think they made him a little bit
Caricature
too gentrified, if that's the right word. I think they did make it a little bit too much like he just lived there and he was now,
I was totally
British.
annoyed at the time when I first saw it, but having seen it numerous times at this point, like a lot of people.
Really?
I came to appreciate what they did, but at first I found it very off-putting because it really wasn't, I think, Diana's intent.
That was actually one of the few things I didn't like in the book.
Yeah, because it was really very caricature, like Karen's
I
right.
actually thought that was an improvement.
Agreed.
And there's very little that I can criticize her with, but that's the one piece that I didn't care for when I read it.
I talked to Diana about, to me, Willoughby was a lot to do with being on the, and all of that, and she said they tried really hard.
Yeah.
And they had one in Australia or something, but getting this creature to South Africa and include, she said it just became impossible, so they had to move on from that.
Well, I think one of the challenges, though, that happened with such a significant departure was that when he did his story at the end, it didn't have the same impact because we couldn't figure out why he was so angry in the context of the character that was created on the show. So I think that was kind of lost a little bit. I mean, I looked at it and said, but are people who don't read the books, will they understand why he is outraged? Because we can infer it as readers, but if they haven't gotten there in the book yet and they don't know him that way, I think that was kind of a lost piece.
Right, they didn't see no disrespect that he got.
What did you show only people think about that?
I think everyone's pretty much read it.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually interviewed Gary Young, Mr. Willoughby, and it was fascinating, if I do say so myself. I thought it was fascinating. I don't know what you guys will think, but I'll probably release that when Starz reruns episode 309, the one where he does this amazing monologue.
Yeah.
Wonderful guy, and so heartfelt. His study that he did to put into that character was just really something.
Did he have any insight on book versus show, Willoughby?
He said he didn't look into it too much because he knew they were changing the character, and so he didn't want to, he didn't even really want to go there. But I felt like he really got a lot of Willoughby he didn't read the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, he did well then.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Totally change the subject.
Sure.
How do you envision them creating Stephen Bonnet as the villain this time?
Oh, I think they're going to do Stephen Bonnet just as well as they did Blackjack Randall. I think he's somebody that you will learn to just, he's going to try the pants off of you, but you're still going to hate him for it.
Oh yeah.
I struggle with that comparison though, because I don't find a whole lot to like about it.
No, I just think they're going to develop him really well, and you're really not going to like him. He's going to be a true villain, I think.
Yes.
But he's going to be a more likable villain. He's not going to be a, sadistic.
Well, he is attractive, right?
Yes.
He's attractive, and at first he's kind of charming, but it's pretty quickly that he shows his true colors.
Yeah, there's not a lot of honor among those thieves. Anything else for season 4 that you guys want?
How about Jeannie tackling fatherhood for the first time?
I know with an adult daughter.
An adult daughter who was from the 1960s.
He's from bikinis.
Oh, the bikinis, yes.
1700 version of parenting to this grown woman who's very forward thinking. I think that would be interesting. Young butting heads, they're caught in the middle.
I do hope we see that fire between them and really see that sort of Fraser Steele.
I'm excited to see Jocasta and Jamie. I think Maria Doyle Kennedy is going to be amazing. That's Jocasta.
Match wit. Yeah. Those Mackenzies, man, you gotta watch out for
When
them.
she's only like 53 and she's playing, if Jocasta's still supposed to be, I think, 65.
Yeah.
Is she?
They could age her up.
It's amazing to me that we have these tremendous actors.
The talent is the talent. Come on in, guys. Grab a book. Grab a book. Each get one.
I already have it though.
I give it to somebody who hasn't read it. Christmas present to you. New Outlander.
I don't want to carry those out, so take
Looking forward to that and reality.
Oh.
That's been good.
Yeah.
that.
Voldemort?
Yes, it's going to be a Harry Potter.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to leave out? I was really disappointed with the stuff that was not in the show.
Oh yeah, that was one of my questions. What do you guys wish was in there that was left out or got deleted in season 3?
I mean, there's so much of this conflict and the murder on another killer guy with getting the and all that stuff got left out. They are invoking the shit out of right, the pirate scenes. Yeah.
Oh, the pirates.
I also wish we saw more of Claire in her element in the 60s. Like Claire as a surgeon. No, we didn't see her building her relationships and building her career and being her own person in the 60s. She was always Frank's wife, and it would have been interesting to explore that.
I think that is smoking fast.
They did film that. I know they did film a surgery scene that got cut. It would have been more impactful too for her decision to go back after you've seen this big life that she's created. I feel like we missed out on some of that.
I feel like having created having did this with Joanna.
Yes.
A lot of the film stuff is not in the show. It's really good.
And of course, that's always when I'm like itching for.
I know, we want that. I mean, we have something called Outlander Science Club that we do sometimes, where we take out parts of the medical scenes and share them, and kind of explore them in these short podcasts. And we just didn't get that as much as I thought we would. We didn't really have any material to work with, and we were both pretty sad about that. So those of you who came in, have you all read the books?
The first 3.5.
The first 3? Oh, because you're working. Okay.
And you guys were just kind of yelling out our questions and stuff. Do you want to come closer? So there's also a microphone right there if people want to come up and sound like we do.
How do you actually know that? That would seem very confusing.
Yeah.
And I think part of that was because we didn't get to know Margaret properly. Like, we didn't really get to see, because that her brother's character was changed to where he wasn't pastor, and we didn't get to see this whole psychological thing develop, and we didn't get to see how she fit in, would fit into that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that was pretty challenging. We had to fill in those spaces. So I don't know, because there's so much detail in the books. My husband hasn't read the books. I know, it's like ridiculous that he hasn't read the books.
My husband hasn't read them.
I'm like,
Has anybody's husband read them?
a lot of husbands read them, but so I always have to go to him first and ask him, what did you think about that, without even giving any of my input. But he really comes up with the key pieces that should be, as somebody who's a non-reader of the material. So it's being effective for those people who aren't actually familiar with the books before they get translated into TV. So that's good to know. And I'm always surprised sometimes that he could pick up on, I'm like, what was it? What element told you that? Because I couldn't find it. But I think sometimes we read a lot into it when we've read the books too.
You two medical people, what do you think of the lot coming out of the like that?
I know.
The tech look of it all. And you know what they use for like the chicken and the...
I don't know what they used. I don't
like
remember.
corn syrup, something.
But I didn't know if there was a podcast from Ron for that episode. Otherwise, I missed the description of how they did that. It looked realistic enough.
It was very slippery.
Yeah. I think it looked like real blood too.
I
think it did.
I think it was like I was like, it even moved like real blood. It was like, oh, that's gonna coagulate soon.
Yeah. I've been impressed with their medical portrayals on the show, which is why I ended up blogging about it and spending time with it, because I feel like it's one of the few shows that actually does almost everything correctly. This season in particular, for the burr hole for the head injury, the trepanation, that was realistic. It was done well. They showed a lot of cool close-ups, and I guess I like that they don't shy away from really being up close and showing the details.
Is that what it would sound like?
The grinding bone.
I don't think you'd ever forget it once you
No, I have done it once, but it was a electric drill, or electric drill, not a hand.
A little more efficient for you.
Along those lines, what did you think about in season 1 when she's repairing they're working on the femoral artery?
Yeah.
Was that realistic, or was it?
So the large laceration in femoral artery will cause a lot of bleeding very quickly, and it was unclear how long she'd been taking care of him, because it could be within minutes that he would lose a substantial amount of blood. But the way they portrayed the physics of it, the blood spurting, she's holding pressure, she's waiting for the surgeon, seemed realistic. I did more reading after writing about that episode, and they weren't fixing those arteries, at least for the first part of the war. It wasn't until the very end of the war in the European theater that they began to actually repair them. Instead, they would just ligate and then plan for amputation. So it wasn't quite clear, and what they did was accurate, because they didn't really explain what he was doing or go one way or the other. But I was impressed. It was episode 1, and I guess it got me hooked. So.
Is there a favorite medical scene that you have in all the seasons? That you're like,
I love watching Claire do a shoulder reduction. I mean, I feel like the first season really brought all of the medical out of the book, and that's so far it's been the one that's done it the best. So I just had a great time with that. But yeah, it was great. She's up there, she's doing what needs to get done, she's letting no one get in her way, and it's fun to dream a little bit about being in those circumstances.
and that's how it would be if your shoulder was dislocated.
Not exactly. There's other ways to do it now that you can do it without sedation, but you would use a different mechanism for doing it. But it was close enough that I wasn't bothered by it. Yeah. I feel like they've done a great job. And they've done a great job of recalling the injuries and having the splinting and the scars, and it's all, and the recall of all of that's been great.
And I had a question for our midwife. When Jenny gives birth to Kitty, is it Kitty? Kitty? And she's breech, right?
Yes, it's
Maggie.
So I wrote about this pretty extensive blog on this. It was pretty funny. How they portrayed the labor and how with luck, breech baby labors either are super fast and that baby flies out, or they're very unusual and really don't make sense. So they portrayed it really well. When it came to Claire would never, ever try to do an external version after waters were broken on a woman in labor. That is dangerous and it is reckless, and
Wait, what's an external version?
where she tries to turn the baby to be head down from butt down, and because it's really dangerous. Once the water breaks, there's not enough. I mean, you can compress the cord, you can make the placenta shear off the uterine wall. I mean, it's really scary. So I saw that, and the way she was doing it, I've been to external versions, I haven't done one myself. They are very serious procedures that require 2 providers, 2 OBs doing them. Women are often given medication or an epidural before because they're very hardcore. I mean, they have to dig in there and turn that baby. So that this force like this was not, I just kind of laughed about it. I was in Scotland at the time, actually, when that aired. And watching it on Scottish streaming is really tough, let me tell you.
She was sweating, though. Claire.
She was sweating. But when they actually depicted the delivery, it was really well done. I mean, the actual delivery and how you're supposed to do it, they did well. And it was just really, it just cracked me up because I was like, yeah, they needed to really talk to an OB or a midwife about that whole external version aspect. So
we have an English.
I know. But the water's broken. Claire would not have done that. Even doing, a 3-month OB rotation as a nurse, she never would have done that because they would surely have seen breech babies in delivery at that point.
Oh, but again, from 1940s?
Yeah, they did a lot of breech babies in the 40s because they just didn't turn them all the time. They actually had much more skill at delivering them than we do now. So.
And what about bringing the baby into the world as a true Scot?
Oh, I'm like, oh, that's fine. I mean, well, I'm a home midwife, and so there have been times I've had women drink a half a glass of red wine and go to bed because they're not totally in active labor yet. They need the rest so their body can kick in. It's a lot safer than things like Ambien. And, so yes. So I've given women whiskey in labor. I have done that. So it's okay. Because sometimes you just need a little something. Where's the idea of having it? Usually they don't even. It just sits in front of them until after the baby's born. And then they give it to
Not Jenny, though.
This is a qualifier, it's a little bit.
No, a little bit, yeah. An ounce of nothing is going to hurt a mom and baby in advanced labor. I mean, there's a lot of hormones involved. Once the baby's ready to be born, there's a lot of things going on in the body that, an ounce of whiskey or a couple ounces of wine is not going to harm anyone.
So I have questions that are not medical for you.
Yeah? I'm good, because I have no medical answers.
I don't know about your most challenging Outlander interview.
My most challenging, let's see, I have 2 answers for that. I would say doing Google Hangouts, which I usually do. When you make any noise on your side, the camera switches to you. And so when I was interviewing Stephen Cree, I was having to laugh silently through the whole thing. I mean, the guy is hilarious, and I was like... And then my teenager came down the stairs behind me, and he was trying to figure out how to get, because he'd slept in, so he put a blanket over his head, and he creeps down the stairs. I put it in the bloopers in the interview, and Stephen's like, "Oh, is that a ghost?" And then my other challenging one was when I did season 3 premiere in New York City, red carpet. My first red carpet interview was Sam and Kat. And I hired my camera guy 2 hours before we were supposed to go because it was a holiday weekend and I don't live in New York City. And anyway, I didn't find out I was going until Thursday, and it was like 110 degrees on the red carpet. And we had been waiting there for 45 minutes. And when they showed up, I smelled like a goat. And luckily they're really tall, and I was like... but they said they were going to come together, and they came separately, and you have 4 questions, and you have 2 questions. You had this much space before the next person. So that was really... I wasn't nervous by the time they got there. I was just like, let's just hurry up.
Is that close to your blog? I want to check that out.
It is. Yeah, it's on YouTube, actually. Yeah.
So what's your favorite quip from an interview?
Probably the last person I interviewed was Sam Moore, who plays Hal. And if you guys come to the party, I'm going to screen that interview so you can watch it. It is not edited. I was going to show the Willoughby interview, which is edited, and my editor just kept crashing. Sam Moore, the other Sam I call him, wanted to be seen tonight, not Willoughby, for whatever reason. So he's hilarious. He's a self-deprecating British guy, and he's like, at the end, I think it was at the end, I was like, well, thank you so much. And he was like, thank you so much. You did all this research. You made me feel like I have a career. He's married to a very famous actress. whose name is Romola. Do you guys, come on, you guys know who that is, right? She what?
She's an economist.
She is. How do you say her last name?
Not sure.
Yeah. So, yes.
That's probably the best quit. I love that. Very sweet. Sounds like a nice guy.
Did you guys have any questions for the docs?
Well, good white dog journalist.
Or for me? What was that?
Yeah, I don't know if that was it.
I have no use for that at all.
Yeah, I'm like this. I'm like, I don't know about birth and no horses. So.
I ride horses, but I don't birth them. Or assist their birth.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, so we didn't get to the other characters that we would like to see in season 4. Besides Stephen Bonnet, because I think he's such a rich character. There's so many layers to him. Daugherty, who becomes close to Claire, and she becomes very significant. And Rollo, of course. I mean, that doll.
Wait, who was the last person you saw?
Daugherty. She's the yeah.
I was probably pronouncing that something different in my head.
Yeah.
Like all the Gaelic words. Yeah.
It messes with it. She's a healer, traditional healer, and she's a grandmother. And she and Claire have to communicate in a different way because they don't speak the same language.
But they do.
But they do. They speak this language the same, and they become friends, and they share different herbs and plants and all kinds of other information with each other.
And the pouch.
And a pouch. There's something special in a pouch that happens. And of course, I just can't wait to see more of Lord John, because all of the Lord John.
He's so good.
Otter tooth?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Pebble.
yes.
Right.
Yeah. Or like, ooh, I know. It's going to be interesting to see how all the different cultures are integrated in this season.
And how much are they going to fit in? It's a big book.
Well, the next book is even bigger.
Yeah.
This one's bigger, so.
And it's going to be 12 episodes, the next 2 books. Book 4 and book 5. Yeah.
So we're like,
Yes.
yes. Oh, I know, it is. Well, I think in Fiery Cross, the gathering isn't going to have to take like 300 pages. I don't remember.
That's true.
I don't remember how many pages it takes, but visually, you can shorten that into an episode because you can see all the things that are going on simultaneously when you're looking at it on film. Or in the book, you have to. That's the longest 24 hours of anyone's life.
Yeah.
I was like, how? Because I remember going back and going, what are they up at 3 a.m. and they don't go to bed till midnight? And then they just keep running out of sugar and eggs. That's all I know.
I hope they do more of the, I thought it was really effective at the Lord John Grey ball where they just had Jamie and Claire share that look.
Oh,
yeah. It was like, that's all we need. Just don't have them run around all the time.
But they run around all the time.
They do, but they need to at least share a look if they're not going to do other things. More connection. Right.
You had a question?
Is there any buzz about them doing like standalone episodes or something like Lord John Grey? I love all those novellas.
I have read a couple of times that there have been hints that there might be a Lord John miniseries. I
cannot imagine that they would not do that because David Barry is beyond a hit. He's young.
And we all want it.
People are just, there's more and more Outlanders, so why wouldn't they? I mean,
I've heard hints here and there. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing more of these vegans.
Oh, I know.
Young Ian.
Yes.
Yeah.
He grows up pretty fast, doesn't he? I'd say that's definitely the rules of the road teach him pretty quickly.
Do you guys, I was going to ask what characters seem like they just walked out of the books for you? For me, Roger is, like, Richard Rankin, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, it's Roger. Yeah. Do you have? Jamie? Yes, yeah.
I think Jenny's really an accurate portrayal. And I think that Nell did an amazing job as Leary, because you don't want to be her friend. You really do. Oh, Gayla's was. Well, it's because Lana's she's this little tiny person, but she inhabited that very big character.
It's a big character.
I mean, oh yeah.
She came across as crazy.
Yeah.
And the whimsy, and it's easily believable, and with aspects of all. The onesie is whimsical. Oh.
Well, yeah, because she's somebody that, like, I'd want to be her friend, but I would never take food or drink from her ever. Never.
They were successful. Anybody else? You guys? Dougal.
Marsley? Yeah.
I love how Lauren Lyle is playing her. The wedding scene in season 3. It's one of my favorite scenes from the book, and I thought Father Faulkner did a great job too.
You love him. He's just bonkers.
What do you guys think of the Coco edition? Yeah? Right.
So I'd be interested in hearing what people think about the adult Fergus.
I don't think we've really seen enough of him yet. I don't really have much of an opinion, because he seems like he's been a little subdued. And I want to see Fergus in his fine French form. Because
I think both Ferguses are really good, personally.
I just can't wait to see him in a totally different non-street element when they get to the Ridge, because that's going to, I think we're going to start seeing more of him and what makes him tick, and the challenges of being one-handed, farming and ranching and building, which he can't really do any of that really well. There's not a lot of pickpocketing and street hustle to do on the Ridge.
Is it just me, or do people also like Rollo and Clarence and the White Sal and all these?
Yes. Oh, I want to see Adsel.
All of them. Yes.
Like, I'm dying for Adsel. Clarence is my favorite. I know. But I saw pictures of the White Sow, I actually squealed because it's so cute.
She has babies all the time.
I know, but
she's mean.
She's just crabby. She's always under that house.
Yeah.
Like, they can't get to their spices.
How they film that? Because I remember reading that, I couldn't quite understand what was going on. Just knew she lived somewhere and you want to hurry. Yeah.
She lived in the pantry until she got big enough. They had a pen. She always broke out of the pen, and then she lived under the house and kept having her litters under the house. So she's a character. I like how they bring the animals to life on the show, because some of us really like animals a lot. And they have, like with Rollo, if any of you have read to the last book, I know, but it's incredible how a dog in a book series can make you so attached who's not a main character. It's not like Lassie or something, right? And so I love that they really give the, kind of the personality and what animals mean to us through these books as well.
Well, Diana's a big dog person.
She is.
No,
That's my person.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any favorite costumes that you just loved or coveted or wanted? I want Master Raymond's vest, his apothecary coat. I would tackle him for that.
You can have that. I hit Claire's crossbody leather medicine vest from the end of season 2. You can search for that. It was when she's in the 18th century and she's carrying this crossbody leather bag.
I can see her watching. It's when she left Alex.
Yes.
It's when she was in that time period and Alex was about to die. Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
We're like, that bag is awesome. That'd be great for my birth stuff.
I don't think this is original, but I like her coat with the fuzzy hood.
Yeah. The wedding dress?
Yes. Did you get one? The coat? And how'd they do? Is it like a...
Really good.
Oh.
I love that one they had that I think was actually based on a Chanel design that it had the white coating.
Oh, yes, the white navy.
Yeah, Dior. Christian Dior, right?
Yeah, it was magnificent.
Yeah, it was, I mean, they were all beautiful, but
Yeah, that one was
the
good.
black one and the second
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they had like.
That's white. The white.
Yeah.
I just saw somebody did a cosplay of that, like a really beautiful on his Twitter.
So like a steampunk-ish time traveler look.
Yeah, I don't really care if the costumes are accurate. They're beautiful, and they jump out of the screen and they're their own characters, just like the sets are. So I'm like, it's okay if they're, to me, if they're not totally accurate, I don't care. I'm like, I'd wear that if I could.
I don't know if they're accurate or not, but if you know what you're doing, it probably would take you out of the story.
So, Brandy, would you like to show people your cosplay outfit, please? I know. It's okay. We're all friends here.
Did anyone else dress Outlander?
And she made that all
Brandy,
herself.
Brandy, will you spend just a couple minutes and tell us about it on that mic right there?
Gosh, okay. Well,
The tears that went into it.
oh Lord,
The bad
Just
words.
explain what you did.
profanity. No, this took me about 6 weeks to make,
Yeah.
I think. I used the pattern from the American Duchess. Yes, it is. Yeah, if you haven't followed her anywhere, she's absolutely amazing. The things that she comes up with, and it's just, she's just like, oh yeah, I did this, and I did this, and it's this amazing, amazing piece of work. But no, I use that pattern, and this is 7 layers. It's a 7-layer dress. No, it's the shift and the corset that I refuse to wear. They really are a pain in the butt. But it's a corset. I made that and have all the boning. And then there are 3 petticoats. There are 2 petticoats under this, and it's just cotton. The outer skirt here is linen. It's really, really cool. And then this is the gown part, and this is just flannel. It's just a really light flannel. It was really, really fun to make. I've had people, Desiree was like, hey, you want to make me one? And
We're still working on it.
We're still working on it. We're like, yeah,
Next year.
enjoy it. You will. It will happen at some point. But
She'll wear it at next year's panel.
yes. We wanted her to this year, but it was a little complicated. So no, I really enjoyed making it. It was really fun. Oh,
And she
my
made
personal pouch.
the famous bum roll. Is the bum roll uncomfortable? Because Katrina Bell hates the bum roll.
It's right now, it's sagging. So if you see me walking around, you just constantly holding up.
Hiking up your bum roll.
Yes.
Because we dressed up, we made these. I had some bags made that use a quote from Diana Gabaldon explaining what the show or what Outlander is. And I was like, someone dresses up, they're getting a bag. Do you guys have any other questions before we close or thoughts?
I have a question about if you look into patterns and those about the differences. I know that Terry goes back to
She was.
They're, I mean, these are literally the, average Joe, take out a basic sewing machine. So they truly are simplified.
And if you do go to the American Duchess website, all the hacks are in there to make it much more realistic. So if you want something beyond the costume and you want it to be an outfit that would be more of a correct portrayal. All of it's on there. It just makes it a lot more complicated. And
the simplicity patterns are specifically just for costume. They're not going to be for any kind of period dress.
Yeah, but and one of the things about costuming that I think is interesting, because we buy clothes, we buy $5 t-shirts, right? I mean, our clothes are really disposable, and the clothes they had, where she would probably have 4 shifts, and then she would have a couple of the extra top parts, and then just, a handful of underskirts that she would wear, and that's all you had, because you had to make it. And the shifts only got washed, right? Routinely. The outer part of the clothing only got washed if you were in the mud, or maybe a couple times a year, because it was really intensive to do it. So the clothes lasted a lot longer, but you didn't have nearly the variety that we have now. Could you imagine if you had to make the wool, like shear the sheep, make the wool, and do all of it from scratch? I'd be naked, that's all. I just don't have any clothes. So we are having a little after party over at the Hyatt across the street. And if anybody wants to come, we're going to be previewing her interview, and we have some drinks and food, and we're just going to hang out and continue the conversation. And so if you, at about 7:15, are in the lobby by the coffee shop, one of us will come down and get you up the elevator because we have a key card. So thank you all so much. This was fun.
Thanks for coming, you guys.
And there you have it. That was our very first Outlander fan panel at Denver Comic-Con. I hope some of you can join us next year. We do plan on applying. We will see if we get to do another one. It was great fun. We had a wonderful turnout, awesome audience participation, and I hope to see you there too next time. If not, I'm sure we'll put up the recording. And remember, you find Karen Daugherty at outlandermedicine.com, Courtney Williams at outlanderbts.com, and me, Desiree, at adramaofoutlander.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you have any comments, questions, thoughts about our panel, you can leave a message on the listener line at 719-425-9444, or you can drop an email to contact@adramaofoutlander.com. And a special thanks again to Random House for sending us Outlander Show Edition books to give away. They were a hit, and we appreciate you so much. And until next time, Slán Java.